Good skippers give the credit and take all the blame. By that definition, Mr. Barra, you're a decent skipper. But people have died because of GM's defective product. As we knew, and Mr. Velakis' report shows clearly, those deaths occurred because our ship, GM, has some problems that can't be fixed overnight. As GM skipper, the burden to fix these problems is upon you, ma'am, squarely upon you. I think you know that. GM has to rebuild its trust with the American people. And part of that trust is being straightforward on the number of deaths that have occurred because of these defective cobalts. You've testified that 13 deaths occurred because of these cars. Is that right, ma'am?
I've testified that with the information we have, we believe that the ignition switch may have been related to 13, but I don't have all the information.
Okay, because that's a problem, because on the wall behind you, there are 15 photographs of tragedy and loss from cobalt vehicles.
And that's why we're doing the compensation program. It will be independently administered by Mr. Feinberg, and I can assure you that I and General Motors want to make sure that anybody who was harmed as a result of the ignition switch defect is a part of that program.
I'll get that compensation fund later. How about injuries? Any number of injuries you think have been caused by the defective cobalt? Injuries, not deaths, but injuries? What's the number? An idea, ballpark?
Again, I don't have the specific number in front of me, but we don't have a complete number because we only have the information that's available to us. But again, that's why Mr. Feinberg, who is an expert in doing this, and we want to have everybody who had suffered serious physical injury or suffered the loss of a loved one, we want everyone to be a part of this program.
And thank you very much, Mr. Feinberg, because as you know, restoring the trust of the American people, part of that is having a viable, robust compensation program for the victims' families. And I know you've tapped Mr. Feinberg, as you mentioned, to evaluate options for the compensation trust fund. My question is, from your opening statements, it sounds like GM has not put any limits on Mr. Feinberg. Is that true? No limits on the compensation? He's got all options out there to determine the compensation trust fund?
I didn't hear the beginning of your question. I'm sorry.
The question is, you've tapped Mr. Feinberg to have this compensation fund. Are there any limits upon him? Is he just out there because doing whatever he wants to do? I mean,
he is independent, and he will determine those who qualify that meet his protocol and the appropriate amounts.
Will your board have oversight, have to approve his recommendations, or just no? So he's an independent operator.
He is independent.
Have families that previously reached settlements with GM, will they be eligible for this trust fund?
They are eligible to apply.
How about the families whose claims were before bankruptcy? They're
eligible to apply.
Eligible as well. How much do you expect the fund to be? Any ballpark?
Without knowing the protocol, I can't speculate on that. By the time Mr. Feinberg shares with us his protocol, then we will have to take an appropriate estimate, but we really won't know until the program has been fully administered, and we have indicated that we will share the number of incidents and also the total.
Is there a chance the fund will be capped? A limit?
No.
No chance. Okay, I yield back. Thank you, sir.